All right, something that I should have mentioned before that I haven't is that you will notice that there'll be dates in the headings of each of these modules or units, as they are called, and many of them I don't have date yet because this semester is going to be a little strange, right? So we'll see how this goes. So right here, your educational success, that's when we would have met on the 24th and 26th, and we would be done with this unit. And then, of course, the actual due dates are off a little bit, right? So that I'm not making it, oh, it's 26, get that done. So it's a few days later. But this one will be updated. Right now it doesn't show this, but by the time you watch this video, it will. It'll actually show, okay, this we would have started this on the Friday and gone through, whatever date. And again, the reason for that is because we don't know what's going to happen this semester, and you need some kind of gauge like careers in technology. When should I be done with that? How do I juggle that with all my rest of my classes, right? So you'll see, okay, careers is going to start on the 28th of August and go to, right? And that may be the whole rest of the next week, or maybe it's just the Monday of the next week. So that'll kind of give you a gauge. All right, so let's take a look at jobs in IT or IS. These days it's usually called information technology. So that's IT. IS stands for information systems. And then sometimes it's called MIS for management information systems. And so those are all different headings for the same thing, but at the same time, if really getting into the business end of this and doing it, IT normally refers to the infrastructure, the servers, the cables, the switches, the routers, the infrastructure, information technology. MIS often refers to management of a business using information technology. So it's the systems and the procedures and that kind of thing. We don't need to get into that in any massive, great detail. I'm just pointing that out to you so that as you go out there and hear it, you'll realize that if you're talking to a bunch of IT, MIS, IS people, they may use the term more restrictive than somebody outside of that area. All right, so there are 5 main areas of jobs in technology, or what we would consider computing technology these days. Programming, so anything involving programming. This is where you get some of your web stuff coming into programming. Data services, which means providing data to people that comes out of these massive data systems. For instance, an example would be an HR system, human resources management. When did you get hired? How much sick days do you get? How much have you taken? All that kind of stuff. Data services. Infrastructure design and support, that's networking. That's I put a router there, I put a switch there, there's a firewall here, we cabled it with this. That's the stuff I like. And security. And now security actually involves all of these and can focus on a single thing. So for instance, you could go into security as a programmer and review code and make sure that there's less ability to hack that code. There's security of data services, whether or not somebody can modify something in your data that they shouldn't. Think, for instance, IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. If you don't know what that is, go to it now, imdb.com, and see what it is. And you'll realize that somebody's got to keep that secure. So there's people that are putting data in, that are making sure the data is there, that looks the way it should be, that are designing that. And then somebody's making sure that you can't just get in there and replace pictures with whatever you want to. And then, of course, security and infrastructure and design. For instance, I'm going to go put a router in. A router is part of security. A router should stop traffic that it doesn't want to come in right there. And lots of people think of that as a firewall, but a router should do that, and then a firewall should do more. And so security can be in that. And so this security is, it's a big thing, and it involves all this other stuff. And then, of course, customer service. And in many of these areas, not necessarily programming, but data services, infrastructure design, security, often you start in a customer service relationship. And you can make quite a bit of money just in that. I mean, you're looking at 40, 40 would be average, so somewhere between 35 to 60,000 for a customer service rep. And of course, what people usually think of when they talk customer service is Dell, calling Dell support. Right? Oh, my router, I can't get on the internet. Hey, Valley Telecom or Cable One or Sparklight or whatever they're called now. And you're talking to that person. That's what people think of. But no, no, there's lots out there. Think about um, a particular piece of equipment that they use within marine biology, and that piece of equipment is a piece of computer equipment. And who knows all about it, and what happens if it's not working right, or what happens if you need help setting the settings on it and programming it or erasing it and starting over? Who handles all that? Well, they have customer service reps doing that. And of course, those people are very particular about what they've been doing, and they're usually much nicer to deal with, right? They're the face of the company, and so they get paid really well to do that. You can make quite a bit of money just in customer service. So anyway, those are the main 5 areas that all the different jobs that I'll pull up are going to be funneled into. They'll all fit within there, and they may cross over, right? Programming and data services often crosses over. All right, and then related to computing, engineering, robotics, biotechnologies. Those are all things that usually will entail a lot of programming, a lot of manipulation of data, and so they have a bunch of that in it. And I always mention those because sometimes I'll get students that they really like technology, they're really good with math, and and I try to tell them, well, you should check out engineering, right? Because that's very closely related to these two things. I have a friend that works for Raytheon, and he programs missiles. I mean, I don't tell him that you're just a programmer. You're just a specific programmer. You program missiles, right? Oh, no, 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 no. I'm an engineer. But what is he doing most of his time? Programming. That's what he's doing. And so these are closely related. Now we're going to take a look at this website called Career One Stop, because it's got a bunch of good stuff on it that I want you to see. CareerOneStop.org. So basically, it's a place that's put out there, that's governmentally funded and funded by, right here. It's sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor, proud partner America Job Center, and they have tons and tons of stuff out here. You can explore careers through skills or salaries or doing an assessment of a career. And you can just do a search off of this. They have tons of information on how do I make a resume the way it should be. Here's web developers right here. That's a top video currently. What do they do? Well, let me watch this video and find out. This is a fantastic resource. And so as we have you do assignments and things, here you are. I'm pointing you into a direction of, wow, there's a ton of information here that you can actually use for doing these assignments that you can do as research. And it's kind of funny to me as an instructor that we'll finally get to this point where it's like, okay, now it's time to do this job assignment. And people are like, what do I do? Where do I start? Well, I'm showing you all that now. Right? Career One Stop is the first thing I want to show you on this trek of here's all the information that you can go ahead and use and make your job easier when it comes time to actually do that little report that you have to do. So that's Career One Stop. And there is a let's take an interest assessment, right? We're gonna take a look at that. And I'm going to talk about these, but I want to also compare something else. So I'm going to jump down here to Career Coach. Now, Career Coach is part of EAC. So you'll see that this is going EAC on the front of it. And so these people offer a ton of stuff too. And here is an assessment. And it's one of those assessments, if you've ever taken one of these, it's like, do you like to be outside? Do you like to work with your hands? It's only going to be so good. It's not going to tell you what you specifically should do. It might come out and say that you want to be a captain of the a seagoing vessel. And you'd be like, what? I don't even know how to do that. And I've never seen an ocean, you know? So it may not be totally exact, but you've got assessments, you've got different careers that you can take a look at, different programs. So that's the educational part of it that we get to later, and a resume builder. So you can search right here for careers, right? I'm going to put IT in just to see what happens, just to see what it comes up with. Oh, locker room, there you go. Appetizers, there's information technology project managers. There's their median salary, meaning their mid-range salary across the board. And this is, 57% of those places hiring project managers want a bachelor's degree out of that. So that would be up from associates. Only 24% of them will hire you if you have an associate's degree, and only 10% of them will hire them if you just have a certificate in project management. And so, see, here's the good thing, right? Here's like, oh wow, I'm a very detailed person. This sounds good. I love to manage little projects and things like that. This could be something I want. Well, then you need to go for a bachelor's degree. That's what this information is telling you, right? That's what it's saying. So let's do another search. I'll just back up. I was going to just hit search up there, but actually I will, because it didn't let me go back like I wanted. So we will do computer network. There we are. Computer network support specialist. Median is 56,000. 40% want a bachelor's degree in associates. 22% in some college. And then there's network architecture. There's a little more there. They want a bachelor's or a master's for that. Then there's information security analysts. That's even more pay. And then a lot of bachelor's for that. Right. So this is a great way of where you're actually saying, well, what do these people do? I don't know what they do. Okay, well, let's click on it and let's find out what they actually do. This screen is actually showing us that there's actually annually one job opening in this surrounding area. So that's another great thing, is this really narrows it down to that particular thing. But let's go to about, and then there's your daily tasks. Plan, coordinate, implement network security measures, right? So you haven't done any of this stuff, right? So it's what you have to do is kind of suppose, like, does that sound like something I'd want to do? Right. So that is what people find hard as we start to dig in to taking a look at these, because a lot of them just look good. I don't know. I haven't done it. Yeah, well, that's kind of the point, is to try to give you a direction so you are seriously considering these and seriously thinking what needs to happen in order to go down that path. Again, you can always change it, right? This is not set. Something that I will mention now, and I may mention again, is the very fact that the wonderful thing about an IT career is that you can switch. You could start out in data services and become a programmer later on. You could start out in infrastructure design and support and go into data services or go into security. It's not like if you had gone to be a doctor. So you go off to get all your education as a doctor, and then you go, you know what? I really don't like this. Well, what are you going to do now? What are you qualified to do? You really proved you were smart getting that education, but your education is in medicine. It's nowhere else. In technology, they don't really have that restricted point of view. And I think it's because people outside of technology don't really understand it. And so they figure if you can tear a computer apart and put it together, you're a freaking genius. And you could also do security and you could also program. To them, it's all like one main thing. And so the advantage of that is it gives you the opportunity to move around, right? So I started in customer service myself, and then I moved into networking because I found that I like networking. So my customer service was really related to dealing with computers and the programs that were on that computer and whether or not the computer was working correctly. And then I got to know a little of networking, and I was like, I really like networking, and I became a network admin. And part of that, I got to do server stuff. And so I could have branched into server. I also dealt with some database systems, so I could have got into database systems. And so you're not restricted. And so you could go, well, yeah, that actually does look good. You start to go into that educational portion of what you want. And then later on, you get into database systems. You're like, whoa, I just love data systems. I didn't realize I would. But my education as a network admin, doesn't matter. It's related to the tech field. They're going to let you do it. If you can show you that you've got the skills, you're set to go. And so this is actually something, this careers is actually something, this one, Eastern Arizona College purchases that all students can use, and most students have no idea it's there, even though it's actually on the homepage. So it's sitting right on the homepage. You can see it there, but most people are like, I don't know what that is. So you get to use it as a student because we're paying for that, and it's great to go through this assessment. So this is the assessment that I want you to take a look at. And on here, you will see their assessment. And I think it's good to go through both. Where is that assessment? I lost it. Somewhere on this page is an assessment. Well, I'm sure you're staring at it right now and I can't find it. So hold on a second. Let me find it. It's like just being like in right there in class. Anyway, so I found it. They moved it under this nice little pop-up, and there's assessments. And when you go to assessments, it's very, very much like the same. So let's do, an interest assessment right here. And there you can take it. You'll answer 30 quick questions. You just click that little link. And over there on Career Coach, you can take the 6 questions, which is not going to help you too much, really, or you can take the 60. And so I tell students, take the 60. You're like, no, do I have to? Stop looking at it like it's an assignment and realize that what I'm trying to help you out with here is what do I want to do with my life. Now, if you're a person that's like, I know exactly what I want to do, I'd still take the 60 question, because if that's exactly what you want to do, right, shouldn't that pop up as what you're going to do? And if it doesn't pop up as what you're going to do, maybe you should broaden your mind out and look at things and see if maybe you want to, change your mind. So I say take the 60 question assessment and take this 30 question assessment. And then over here, if I go home, you will see that there is a place. I hate how long it takes Canvas to actually do what it needs to do. Right, there's the interest assessment. And here's the Career Coach link for that. And here's the questions. Right, so I'm taking you straight to Career Coach, but as well, do this 30 question assessment, Career One Stop. That'll get a bunch of information and you can compare them, right? Career One Stop I found more valuable because it actually hit better for me, or the opposite. Career Coach did better for me, or they came out exactly the same, and I don't want to be a plumber. It's cool to go through them. You should have enough information to answer these questions, because I tried to keep some of them very general, like what's the most significant thing you learned about yourself. Apparently I like cats because it came up and told me that I need to be a cat breeder. I don't know. Whatever it happens to be. This one's worth more points, but what you're doing is answering these questions. If it helps, right, you cannot do all of your assignments with bullet points. I don't want that. So when it's time to write a paper, I always have people ask, can I just do bullet points? No, but this is not a paper. This is going to help you complete the dream job assignment that comes later. So you can actually copy these and then write your answer next to them to make sure that you're hitting all those answers. Here's another educational tip for you. So beyond this little questions here, lots of people say, well, I really never know what to write, so mine are always really short. There's 2 things I want to mention about that. Number one, if you're answering the question, you're doing good. Number two, if your answers are really short, you didn't do enough thinking. And that's the truth, right? Again, people just want to push through this stuff. They're like 60 questions, boom, 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 boom. I'm not going to really take part in this. I'm just going to do what I have to do to get it done. And then when it comes time to answer, they're like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I think maybe this, right? If you actually look at the information and what's being told to you here, then you can come over here and easily respond to each one of these, and your questions won't be 3 words. It'll be longer because you have more thoughts about it because you thought about it, right? So, little hint there. Get good grades. All right, so that's the interest assessment, and that's where that feeds in right here on the jobs portion, right, where we're looking at this interest assessment, and we jump down to career coach. Now I'm going to stop this video because I want to try to keep it short, and we'll look into this importance of having a plan, researching employers, and also a little more information that's not listed on this page. So look forward to the next video.